Good morning. I have good news Friday. Well, it's not good news, it's bad news. Bad news for the lefties and for those who wants to shut you up. Right, first, Guy Verhofstadt, this guy in Brussels. He's despicable. He's not a charming man at all. And I think he's the one who is pushing the hardest for no borders and no nations. He's like the Tarzan of globalism. Right, so he's disappointed. You see, that's why this is good news. They're going to have this conference later this year called the Future of Europe. And he was a favorite to lead this conference. Right, and I'm sure he was hoping for this. This would be fantastic for this star of a man. But it's not looking good for him, no. The EU ambassadors, they insist on selecting a high-profile but independent candidate for this job. So it's a sad day for Guy Verhofstadt. Interestingly enough, this is also disappointing news for Emmanuel Macron in France, because he's been told that he would get a political ally for the job. See, so maybe he's a bit disappointed too today. Bad news for the lefties, and this is what I hear. It's a rumor still. I think it's true. You know, this area in Seattle called CHAZ, this nation formed by the lefties, where there would be peace and quiet and very nice and no policemen and so on, right? I hear that this is now dissolving. There were some shootings, you see. Big surprise. It didn't work, did it? No law enforcement. Well, and you thought that all people would be nice to each other. It didn't work, no. Also this is fantastic actually. Project Veritas, this channel, a brilliant channel. They did a job on censorship on Facebook, and they interviewed this business partner to Facebook called, her name is Leslie Brown. And she admitted in the interview that it's more easy to censor white people. Yeah. Well, it's so good that this information comes out. And now Facebook doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it's no problem. If this guy is white, go ahead. Censor him. If he's or she is something else, then you might have a problem. But if he's white, it's fine. Finally, I want to tell you about this book. I'm reading it right now, 1984 by George Orwell. I tried to read it a long time ago, but I didn't make it. So, but now I totally got it from page 1. It's actually scary, because I get reminded of what I see today. And I learned something about George Orwell and this book. I want to tell you about it. He wrote it in 1948. And, you know, for some time he worked for the BBC. It's true. And there was this conference room where he worked, and he's using this conference room as the location for some of these horrible scenes in the book. Another thing about the book, it makes it to the list of the world's top 10 most frequently banned books. Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised about this. If you have totalitarian ambitions, I don't think you want people to read this book. No. Well, it's a great book, really. I suggest that this book is part of education. Yes. It's very good. All right. Be good. And I wish you a great weekend. Bye.